watching Rogers TV.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Out of the Fog. It's your boy DC, and tonight on the couch we got some all-stars coming through talking about all the cool things. Leah Coultas, she is the Elevated Experience. She is the one putting off the Lilith Fair event. She is one half of the Brazen Charmer. She is everything you want and more. We're going to find out all about what she's up to after the break. And then we have Chelsey MacNeil. She's from the Purposeful group. They solve complex problems for municipalities here and abroad, and we cannot wait to hear the good things she's doing to help make Newfoundland and Labrador a better place to be. And then finally, the man himself, Andy Jones, cultural icon, actor, comedian, and writer. Got a book on the go, and we're going to talk all about it. This is Out of the Fog, and we'll see you on the couch right after the break. Welcome back, everybody. This is Out of the Fog, and like I told you before the break, we got the Elevated Experience joining us here tonight on Out of the Fog. The one and only Leah Coultas. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Oh, you know, I'm right where you left me. Leah, it's our 1-year anniversary of you being on the show.
I know. And this is actually my 6th time, I think, being on this show.
What?
6th time. Do I get one of those jackets that
you
SNL?
Should.
Yeah,
maybe a pin.
The 6-timers jacket.
Now, there's a lot of anniversaries coming on.
Yeah.
Because it's 1 year since you've been on the show.
Yep.
1 year since you started the Doing It Scared podcast.
Yeah.
Which became the Doing It Scared open mic, which became the Doing It Scared soapbox on life, because you are helping so many people engage in experiences that they would otherwise be terrified to engage in.
Right.
Which is so amazing. Think back to when you were thinking about doing the podcast and you were scared to do it.
Yeah.
But you did it.
I did it. And I'm still scared.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, I'm still scared. And it's interesting, actually, since launching it this past year, I have found myself, it's odd, isn't it, when you start to face fears and it's like more fears come. Like, you know, the old ones kind of get easier, but then there's always new ones to face. And so I feel like this year has been a really interesting year for growth for me. But yeah, the podcast has been amazing. I'm super hard on myself always and thinking, oh, it could be better. But it's like, just even to rip off that Band-Aid and get it out there and do the thing has been huge. So
yeah, I love the expression, you know, feel the fear and do it anyway, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the gift.
It is
the adrenaline rush of doing the thing you were scared to do.
Yeah.
Think about some of the guests you've had on. When you think back of all the different folks and the storytelling and getting to know them via the podcast, what are some of the gifts?
I mean, the gifts is that everyone is scared. Everyone. I mean, I had guests from, say, like Kellyanne Evans, who we know as in our community is a powerhouse, 20 plus years in the industry of music, and is still admittedly gets scared going on stages. Like things like that I find really interesting to hear all facets of experiences. And of course, since launching the podcast, I get so many people talking to me now about their fears and everyone feeling anxious about this or that. Yep. Sometimes it's just even as simple as getting up and facing the day, like, is scary for people, you know? So it's totally. Like, it's so many things, and yeah, it's just normalizing it, which is huge.
You said it, and creating space for people to be vulnerable, and then to have that fear share, and to realize we're all in it together.
Yeah,
you know?
Totally.
So I'm so proud of you for that. Yes. And, you know, as a movement motivator who has a whole bunch of folks come into your classes that you teach all over town to get up and shake it to the curated playlists and everything that you bring to those are special experiences as well that you love to put off for people.
Yeah.
And you got your loyal hardcores that are showing up for those classes.
I do.
And to me, that's just, you know, such a part of the overall, because you also are an event DJ as well.
Yes.
So in case you, Leah is just all around. You're gonna see her up DJing this event, leading a class here, performing on a stage, singing and songwriting over here. And one of my favorite things that we're about to talk about, which is a shared passion. Women's Day and the events that you put off, and you put one off a couple of years ago, which was so amazing, and now you're doing another one.
Well, what's hilarious is, can you believe that was 2018 when that last one I did? So I did an International Women's Day show where I collabed with Kellyanne Evans, and that was like my first time. I hadn't been singing in 12 years, and I decided to again face a fear and decided to just ask a question to a local musician. Can you help me put together this event where we celebrate women in music? It was at the Black Sheep, which was the Fat Cat at the time.
That's right.
And now we're 2025, and I'm doing another show now at the Black Sheep, same place, with Kellyanne Evans and a multitude of women celebrating International Women. Oh, there's a lot. There's 12 in total, including myself. Yeah. 12 women doing 12 women doing 2 songs apiece, 24 songs total, all from Lilith Fair. So if anyone can remember the late 90s Women's Festival that was headed by Sarah McLachlan, revolutionary at the time. And so 3 years that ran. And so I really wanted to, it's been a dream of mine to dedicate some sort of a show to those women and to cover those women and to have local women here do that. I thought would be really cool, and just a great way to celebrate the day and to celebrate women in general. So, yeah.
So great.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you.
Yes.
No one gotta know. What are your songs?
What are mine?
What are they?
Oh, I don't know. Can I reveal?
Maybe one.
I'm thinking about a Sarah McLachlan tune, but not one that I've covered before. So Possession.
I love that song.
With an accompaniment, which is a surprise little accompaniment on the piano. I won't say who.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, say no more, no more. I'm going to leave that hanging. Give me the date and the time.
So March the 8th, which is actually International Women's Day, which is a Saturday at 8 p.m. at the Black Sheep. You're going to hear music by Sheryl Crow, Jewel, Joan Osborne. Sarah McLachlan, Fiona Apple, all the hits.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
Fun, really fun.
So Leah, as a performer in all these different capacities that we've talked about, I want you just to hop in the hot tub time machine and let's go back 8 years.
Okay.
If someone stopped you on the street and said, yo, Leah, one day you are going to be working way more than full time, doing all of the music and movement motivated and community and sharing work that's going to make so many people feel so amazing, what would you have said then?
My God, why are you making me cry?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to do that.
No, I wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't have believed it. Where I am now compared to where I was then, I was so insecure, which I still am. I think we all are to a degree, but it's like,
of course.
But just not a lot of belief that I could do as much as I'm doing now. Not a lot of belief in myself at the time, but so much has happened since then, and I'm just so proud.
You should be proud.
Yeah.
And all the people that you've touched and that you're helping to unlock their courage too.
Yeah.
It's pretty special.
Yeah.
May I close the last few seconds of our hang-Z here today?
Sure.
There is a special show coming up end of February at Postmaster's Bakery, and I do believe you might be on stage as one half of the Brazen Charmers.
Yes, and who's the other half?
I don't know. Maybe Perry in the sound booth back there.
No.
No?
I think it's you, sir.
Me? Well, I guess I better get practicing. Yes.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert to everybody else, my 30-plus year bestie here, and we sing and play music together. So if you are interested in checking us out, you want to go and hashtag Brazen Charmers on the gram and find out about our show at Postmasters, who we love in Rollins Cross and the A1C for life. We're so excited.
Love it.
Leah, I'm going to let you take off and get back to doing all the amazing, fearless things that you do so well.
Thank you.
But will you come back and hang out again?
I would love to.
Well, please do.
Let's make it number 7.
Let's do it, exactly. Yeah. Lucky number 7. Guys, there's a message here. Feel the fear, do it anyway, and change your life. This is Out of the Fog. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back, everybody. It is Out of the Fog, and I am so excited to have a homegirl on the couch. She's purposeful, and you're going to find out exactly what that means. Chelsey, what's up?
Oh, hey, Donnie. It's so good to be here today.
I know. I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, usually it's at the Bannerman, and we're just like two ships passing in the laptop night, really. But here we are on the couch.
That's it.
I love it. So much I want the viewers to know about you, and I can talk all day. Community builder, punching above your weight, making amazing things happen in so many organizations that have been lucky to have you. And then all of a sudden, girl says, you know what? I'm feeling purposeful, and I'm going to have a group about that and live that life. But what does that mean to the viewers at home? Well, I'm hoping that you will tell everybody. So I'm going to hand it over to you.
Yeah, so thanks, Donnie. I run a company called the Purposeful Group. We're a relatively new company. We have staff from Halifax to Toronto to here in St. John's, and our mission is really simple. It's to help communities solve complex problems. So the world we live in is complex. We know from housing, from climate change, from a lack of investment in rural communities, things are tough, and they're tough on people. And so our mission is to support communities and organizations and even governments try to untangle some of these complex problems and find practical, actionable solutions. So we get the privilege, the absolute privilege, to work alongside communities from St. John's to Labrador to Nova Scotia to PEI to really dig in, put the communities at the center, and find those solutions that are viable and that can make a difference in the lives of the people in their neighborhoods.
Now, last time you and I connected, it was a love-in about this subject because we both share the same value for community. And I just wonder, you know, for context for the viewers, when it comes to the type of work that you do, maybe there are some successes and some things that make you and the team feel proud of what you've done. Anything come to mind?
Absolutely.
Of course.
So if we think about the complexity of social challenges, I like to look at it as the opportunities and the gaps. And so when I think about some of the work we've done, right now we're working on the Bonavista Vista Peninsula, for example, to support some of their efforts in what it means to grow and scale in terms of their economic development, support entrepreneurs, to really start and scale businesses. So we've been spending a lot of time on the peninsula, really working in tandem with the Chamber of Commerce there to see what the future of the Bonavista Vista Peninsula is when you think about the social and economic growth of a region. We recognize the challenges, but let's think about what's possible. Then if we look at some work we've done across Canada, it's supporting social entrepreneurs, people who have great business models, who have a social mission. And we've supported over 150 entrepreneurs across the country through our training programs. Lastly, I'll reference some folks in Labrador. We're working with the Happy Valley Goose Bay Housing and Homelessness Coalition to support some of their work around seniors, and in Labrador City to support some affordable housing builds there. So our work takes us everywhere, and I'm so proud to be part of all of this work, no matter where we go. And plus I brag about being from Nova Scotia, but also being a proud resident of Newfoundland and Labrador for the last 20 years.
Well, we're not letting you leave, so that's one thing I want to say right off the bat. So you should lose your keys and just stick around.
It's okay, I'm here.
I love it. I knew that. And it's so interesting to watch you and the impact that you've made in so many walks of life leading into this. And so, you know, you and the crew that you work with and the projects that you take on, they're all different in the nature of their focus. But I believe the 50-foot level, it's all the same type of work, to your point from earlier, which is really to help people move forward in the communities they love.
Yeah, it's really and honestly, I like to put everything under the tent of community development. So communities aren't static. They don't stay the same. They're dynamic. There's factors that affect communities all over, from workforce development to economic development, housing, the consequences of climate change. And so one of the things that I love in looking at as community development is it's very abundance oriented. It's future forward. What can we do to continue developing and growing as a community and adapt? And with that growth mindset, lets us see the possibilities. And so if we're thinking about the world we live in, it's really easy to drown in the news and in all the problems. And the one thing I love about working in community in particular is that there's always what's possible. And I get the privilege of looking through that community development lens and seeing what's possible and helping those communities make the possible.
A group like you guys helps bring everybody together to make change happen, and it needs to happen because, as we know, from rural to urban environments, things are always changing and moving, and the challenges are deepening and widening. So I think it's really important that a group like you guys are doing what you do. I
think so too. And I will say this, communities are incredibly resilient. And we take, I think sometimes we can, and I say the royal we, can take that for granted. Like these communities across, I think about all the communities I've worked with all across Atlantic Canada and beyond, is they've been doing what they've been doing. They have capitalized on opportunities. They fought for things. They've gone through governments and policy changes and what have you, and they still have that spirit. And the resilience is probably one of our best assets. And I'm just always in awe of what communities can do, and I'm happy to be an extra set of hands to make it happen.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on to hang out and talk about the good work that the Purposeful Group are doing. And will you come back and tell us more in the future?
I absolutely will.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on. Chelsey MacNeil, a name you'll be hearing for the rest of your lives because she's coming for the crumbs. She's making all the change with her amazing group, and we're very excited about what she's going to do next. This is Out of the Fog. We'll be right back after this break.
Your opinion matters, and we want to hear from you. Get in touch with us using our viewer feedback line, your direct connection to shaping the shows you love. It's easy. Just grab your phone, scan the QR code on your screen, and take our quick survey. Share your thoughts, and let's make your viewing experience even better.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Out of the Fog, and I am sitting next to some royalty here tonight, although he'd never say so, the one and only Andy Jones. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I'm holding a book in my hands.
Okay.
I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to show the camera. Right? Actor Needs Restraint by Andy Jones. And just to give a little clue about what's inside, monologues, recitations, clown turns, and comedy sketches.
Yep. Yeah. Actually, the title comes from a review that I got in Toronto. Actor Needs Restraint.
No way. So, I mean, listen, tell me more about that.
Well, this is my first one-man show, which is in this script. It's called Out of the Bin. And it was pretty all over the place, and it had a lot of content, and it was a little out of control. So the reviewer thought I needed a bit of restraint, and so I love that review so much. And that's the picture of me in that show.
Yes.
Yeah, in bed. So I started the whole show off lying in bed, as if I had never gotten a show together. That was it. It was like, this is it, all I could do, and then it ended up just doing all kinds of stuff that I'd done before in the past.
So, many children's books?
Yes. I have 7 children's books, and they're all my rewriting and reinterpreting of Newfoundland folk tales that were told in Newfoundland and collected by Herbert Halpert and John Widdowson in their books, Folk Tales of Newfoundland. And then I went and found the equivalent stories in all over the world and put my own version together.
The difference between a book like this, pretty big. I mean, children's books one day, and then here is this. How much time, effort, and passion goes into creating what you've created with this book?
Well, they're all shows that I did before. I did, like, the first one was '83, and then the last one was 2006. And it's from the beginning, the middle, and the end of, except for the new show I did this year. So it was a long time to make this material readable So in other words, it meant nothing to see it written down. So it took me over a year, not fully, and Charlie Tomlinson, who was my director, and Lois Brown also, who was the other director. And the three of us off and on worked over that year to make it readable so that people can sit up and just read it as a book, I hope. And what I also did was I very clearly divided the whole book into sketches. So, so like if you want to go through the list of sketches, something which you can't read out loud, I'm sure.
I might not know.
But if you go through the list, so that way you can look up a sketch if you want and say, oh, I remember that sketch. Like Oil on Her Breasts was a sketch that a lot of people know from the Codco days on TV, but I actually ended up doing it on stage too. So.
Oh, nice. You bring it up, and so I will too. I mean, how many times in the run of a week do people come to you with recognition and accolades for your contribution to our cultural history with Codco? I mean, it must happen a fair bit.
Well, yes, it's less and less as the years go on. People are dying off who remember us now. But the younger generation don't know who a lot of us are. Mary Walsh has stayed in the public eye, and Kathy Jones also. The two of them have carried on.
You all have. You don't see yourself, I'm sure, and thank God I say that oftentimes we don't see ourselves the way others do. We'll go to our heads maybe, because I'm sitting next to you, and to me, like, I'm in awe because of the respect and the contribution you've made and how famous you are as an artist in our province. But you don't see yourself that way, do you?
Well, I'm just trying to keep, trying to do the next gig and keep ahead of the bank.
Exactly.
But I think Codco did have a big influence, and certainly the people who were in Codco, like Greg Malone, for example, and Tommy Sexton, and Mary Walsh and Kathy Jones, actually, all of whom worked with the wonderful Grand Band. That was such a
what a pairing.
That was an incredible cultural event in the history of Newfoundland. And then Codco came after that, actually. Right. But actually, the theater company Codco came before that, but the television series came after that. And lots of people saw that and enjoyed it. And then we made a feature film, and then in the meantime we've all carried on just doing our own stuff too. So that book is 3 of those one-man shows that I did outside of Codco. Wow. Although some of the material is from Codco too.
Well, I mean, it's all a rich tapestry of your contributions as a troupe, as a team of people who are all contributing, and the works you've done separately, as you said yourself earlier, and now together here in this book. I mean, it's just so amazing. What's the process like, though, of deciding that you're going to compile all of these sketches and different musings and such? I mean, how do you even pick what's going to be in the pages?
Well, usually what I did was I'd say, what was on my mind for the last couple of years? And I said, I wrote this piece, I wrote that piece, I wrote this piece. I think there's a little theme through there. And I pick those, throw the other ones out, and then do a show. Yeah. And then I carry on working, then I do the same thing a few years later. But basically, I think we started off, as kids in school. And I always wanted to be doing sketch comedy. That's the only thing I ever really wanted to do my whole life, was to be on TV and have to do sketch comedy. And I got to do it, which is great. We watched a British company called Beyond the Fringe, and when we were in high school, and people of our generation remember them, and we wanted to imitate them, and we love the British comedians a lot. In Newfoundland, we listened to them a lot, like the Goon Show and those things that were before your time.
Oh no, it's still on my radar.
Is that right? Yeah. And so we always wanted to do that. And then eventually, sketch comedy was such a big thing in the early 70s that we sort of fell into it. And I worked with Ken Campbell, an English director first, doing sketch comedy, and then Codco got together. And all we ever do is sit around in a room and think of funny stuff, which is the best job you could ever have in the world. And that's all I wanted to do, and we did it. And despite the fact that we fought with each other lots of times, but mostly we were interested in being funny in front of other people. That kept us going.
Well, it's amazing to see the output, and I always say to Rebecca Rose from Breakwater, who we love, and her and I had a conversation as recently as yesterday, which is that if it don't hit the page, it don't make the stage. Yeah. And so to take the planning that you would end up putting into performances and now laying it back, it's a bit of a full circle creative process, really.
It is, because you sort of forget sometimes, why did this work or not work or whatever. Right. And some things that are in the book didn't work, but they're in there because it's part of the show. But other people may be able to make them work. But it's to go, like, it would take an actor, months to weeks to prepare, so I have to do all of that for the reading audience.
Right.
And Rebecca Rose was the one who really made this book happen.
Oh, really?
It was her idea. And I said, "Are you sure?" Anyway, so she insisted, so she's responsible for
That's
this book
amazing.
existing.
Well, she's a powerhouse.
She's great. Yeah, oh my gosh, and they've been very supportive. And she's going to do another one. We have the second book of my next 3 shows.
So you're doing another one of these?
Yep.
I love it. That's awesome.
Yep.
So listen, I'll tell you what, we're in our final few seconds.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for coming on. I know how
Okay.
busy you are and how in your creative bag you like to be, of course, but when the time comes to celebrate a man and his incredible works, I had to ask you to come onto the couch, so I'm so glad you came out to hang.
That's great. And if people want to buy the book, by the way,
Of course.
you can buy it at breakwaterbooks.com.
Okay. Well, what a spot to buy. And I can't wait for the next one. And I'm so glad that someone who we have such respect for is continuing to wow us with all the great stuff that you're at. So will you come back when the next book is done?
Definitely.
I love it.
Yeah. We
Sounds
haven't got
great.
that book finished.
And I'll be sitting next to you at the next show somewhere around the town, I have no
Hopefully,
doubt.
yeah.
Andy Jones, everyone, he is one of our cultural pioneers who is continuing to show us incredible work and more on the way, so stay tuned. This is Out of the Fog. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back, everybody. Well, what can I tell you? Another wicked night on the couch with some incredible humans. Thank you so much to Leah. Thank you so much, Chelsey, and to Andy. If you guys have something cool going on out there and you want someone to sit on the couch with and tell you how cool you are, DM me. Come on the show. It's a Local Matters Bop, and you are as part of that community as anybody. And also, thank you so much to all the volunteers that we saw on the screen tonight and Roger's crew. Thank you so much, Perry and Michelle, and we'll see you next time.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
We want to hear from you. Provide feedback on this show or find out how you can get involved. Call, email us, or scan the QR code to take our quick survey.
4 nations facing off.
For what? For friend.
And foe.
4 teammates.
Turned rivals. For the frozen ponds of Sweden.
And Scottsdale.
For still believing in miracles. Leonardo. 40 kronor. For the Maple Leaf. For the entire world to see.
4 nations facing off.
Boys in a better life.
I was born and raised in Musqueam First Nation territory by my mother, who spoke Hunkaminam to me. As a child, I ceased using my mother tongue, as to use any language other than English was considered not being Canadian, so I was told. The old people came to me in a dream and reminded me of who I am and where I come from. I have reawakened. My roots are strong, and I'm no longer a silent speaker. My language tells me where I am from. It defines me and guides me to teach others to learn and understand our culture and traditions. A gift for those in the present and the unborn generations. What was lost is found. What was asleep has awakened. My blood is here, and I am complete. I have returned home.
Where will you win?
The opening tip. We're underway.